Hello all, thanks for joining for today's session. My name is Arsha and I'm having 10 years of experience on Microsoft SQL Server DBA. This is the course content. Mainly in this course, we are having three levels. One is level 1, level 2, level 3. In the level 1, we are going to cover what is SQL Server and configuration of SQL servers and like how to work with the databases like data, what is the log files, all the database internals, and what is the security like say user management I can say, and also security management, what are the TDE and always encryption, and what kind of like automation that we are doing to do, and backups and restores, and DB email and implementation of automations with the SQL agent. So all these up to 7 modules will be covered in the level 1. Coming to level 2, level 2 stands for like HA and DR. We have three features like log shipping, mirroring, always on, clustering. So mirroring was like outdated from 2017 onwards, but still in the company they are being used. So it is like extension for the always on. So just we will go take you to that mirroring as well. Okay, and once that is done, and replication is also part of HA and availability. Like once this is done, now we are going to check into level 3, and what is the troubleshooting of high CPU and IO, how we need to set up the performance counters, what are the weight pool, what are the buffer pools, what are the dynamic management views which we are going to use in day-to-day DBA life, and like what is optimized logging, what logs, isolation levels, table partitioning, understanding the statistics, and implementing implicit conversations, and parameter stripping, and all these are one of the real-time AI use cases in SQL Server because 2005 has been released. So that we are going to we are going to use the AI future so that we can make ourselves to the companies that we are updated. Okay, so these are course content. Course content is 15,000. So if you are going to pay in single payment, it would be like 12,500. So in the two, you like two installments options also available, and first free days are free. Why? Because I don't know like how the way you like the content I am going to deliver, right? So that's the reason either I am approachable for you or not. That's the reason I'm going to give the 5 days. After that, you can decide either I'm good for you or not for your requirements. Is your requirement suitable with my training approach or not? All these things you can, and mostly duration would be like 3 months, and it will be like plus or minus, and like 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. IST. So the reason why, because I put the star mark here is sometimes my shift will due to some office work I might go to office early. So that's the reason it could be like mostly 1 hour or 1.5 hour. And so all these are the rules and regulations. And okay, so yeah, recordings will be there for you up to 1 year. Okay, and you can view with view permission only. Okay, now let's start the session. Okay. Once again, thanks for joining today's session. Like this is the journey, you are going to travel with me for next 90 days. So it is like how we got started means it was started from 2005 to 2025. We are going to see that journey here, and this is the course content. I am going to what is the like basic introductions, like what is data and information, history of SQL Server editions. These are the contents that I am going to cover by in today's session. Now, if I see the what is the data, I means collection of raw facts and figures which have meaningful or not is called data. Anything that can be collected, whether it is a meaning or not, don't have doesn't matter. That we are calling as a data. If you see the example, I outgoing am. So here I have collected the words, but there is no meaning for that. Okay, so if you process that, I am going out. So I am processing the data. This we are calling it as a information. Okay. Now the data can be structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. What is mean by structure? Structure means when data is presented in the rows or columns, then we call it as a structure. If you see here, this is the table. In the table, I can clearly see that one student ID is there, student name is there, and location is there. So, and all these are all the records. So, this is where like meaningful representation of rows and columns. We call it as a structured data. and mostly SQL Server supports, I mean mainly for the structured data only. Okay, now coming to semi-structure. Semi-structure means the data is not a traditional row column database, but it has self-describing structure, can keys and columns. Hierarchy will be there, like JSON format or XML data. Okay, we are going to see the difference. Now, if you see that JSON and XML structure, if you see here, like curly brackets and double quotations, and here if you see the tags are there. Okay, just like JSON stands for like curly brackets, and these are using by the like tags, just like HTML. If you see their name and starting with the name and ending with the slash name, means HTML format. That's why we call it as a extension markup language. Okay, now this kind of data if we there, then we call it as a semi-structured data. Now if you see that JSON stands for JavaScript object notation, and mostly the what is the value, what is the key and what is the value. JSON data mostly will share with the value with the concept called key value and pair. If you see here, what is the email, name John, type home, number home, and this is the value, this is the key and this is the value. If you see here, in the person, name is there and name is there, and email. So this is like comparison will be there, I mean tags, XML is going to use the tags. Okay, now JSON is the extension version of like advanced version, more than like XML. Now mostly like it is, since it is a very small compared to XML, so it is going to widely it is widely adopted by the REST APIs, microservices, and mobile apps. If you see the XML extension markup language here, to highlight the name extension, so that's the reason. See, can you anyone read? If you read up to here, it will call it as extensible. If you add the e as well, it is called it as extensible. Okay. Now mainly like it is, if you see that example here, name and name, so that it is going to use the tags like like HTML. So it is outdated technology, but still some companies are using in the mainly in the banking sectors. Okay. Both are same only, but both follows hierarchy, but syntax differences will be there. So JSON is a very small. That's the reason we are going to see the widely adapted in the all and in modern days. Now unstructured. Unstructured means what here? Audio, video, images, files, PPT. All these kind information in this category comes under structured data. Okay, SQL Server cannot read but can store all these kind of data. Like latest technologies, Python and everything, right? They can read, analyze the data and what is the content. For example, I will show you one photo. In photo, there are 10 members, and I can easily identify those what kind of, I mean, whose those persons are, right? But SQL Server can store those information, but it cannot identify. Okay, now coming in simple way, structure means tables in simple rows and columns. Semi structure means JSON or XML. Unstructured means images, PDFs, videos. All these kind of information we I mean this is the difference between the semi structure and structure. This is the one of the level 1 interview question, so that's the reason I covered here. Now how that IT revolution got started, who is the behind of that, all these things we are going to see now. Now at that time IBM machines were very famous. Why? Because it was the first company like who introduced the computing and all these things. So at that time IBM was how nowadays how Microsoft is very famous, at that time IBM is like that. Okay, so now IBM is having one like one OS, that operating system called as a OS2, and Microsoft is also there, but it was like growing company, like we can say like startup company at those times. Okay, now if you see here, it's a Microsoft. At that time MS DOS is there, around like 10-15 years back, when you purchase a laptop, so by default they will install MS DOS operating system and they will give you, right? Now, if you see here, this is the operating system of OS2. which is was developed by the IBM. Okay. Now what happened? IBM and Microsoft joined together, saying that I'm having a operating system, I mean hardware. I'm also having operating system. You are good in developing. Microsoft is good in developing operating systems and user interface. Why don't we collaborate and join together and make the operating system very beautiful, just like MS DOS and everything. So they started into agreement, but they developed like that. I mean they joined together and everything. By the time what happened now, when two friends join together, so everybody will have some visions and interest, fashions and everything. Now what they want, IBM want to make their OS as a standard enterprise. So and they want to create an ecosystem so that nobody can go to other company. Okay. Now Microsoft like thinking that I am having better version, but why the I mean I at the same time IBM was pushing is database software which is called IBM DB2. Okay, it was pushing along with the operating system. So now Microsoft think that we are deviating our interest, we are deviating with the concept called our interests are different here. The things are going in different way, so they got some clash. So now they got separated. Why? Because Microsoft wants to make the operating systems very friendly for the client's operating system, for the user, for the very large for the large crowd. But the IBM doesn't stand in that way. They want to make only with the enterprise versions. Okay. So like that they got disputes. And like at the same time what happened, so like when strategic interests collided, so the partnership will end obviously. Now so they got struggle. I mean when my IBM and Microsoft developed OS2, if you see here, copyrights IBM corporation and copyrights Microsoft corporation, means both are having copyrights on operating system OS2. Okay. Now what they have, they got settled, they fight over the codes. You know, right, how code works and how delays and everything. Okay, now they settle out of the code. Why? Because if we go like this, nobody we are not going to anywhere. We will stuck here only. So they got ended. They said you take the source code, I will also take the source code. You develop your own, I will develop my own. So like that, both companies got separated, and they started trying to capture the market by doing the ecosystem. Okay. I mean to say, I will let you know what exactly ecosystem is here, what I mean. Okay. Now once they got separated, so now Microsoft is a very famous doing his own working on operating system. At the same time Microsoft wants to create ecosystem for that. Why? Because if I am selling the only operating system, for the enterprise, again they have to purchase database software. IBM is selling the operating system, along with it is selling with the database server as well. Now you tell me, for 1 rupee I'm getting two chocolates. For another person I'm getting one chocolate. I mean, where you are going to purchase? Obviously two, right? The same way, now Microsoft thinks that okay, what is the importance of the ecosystem, and so that's the reason they, I mean, they don't have any history of like how they need to start and everything. So now what happened now? Microsoft, Sybase, Aston Tate Corporation are joined together to develop the SQL Server. Now like that they came out. Why? Because everything, I mean, three friends joined together. They started working and developing and releasing one by one. Now what happened? In the three friends, Aston Titec came out from the SQL Server development. Why? Because it is not going to work that, I mean it is not going to expected how much benefit it is. It, it is not that much of expectations for him. So that's why the Aston Titec came out of the SQL Server development. Now if you see here, this is the database software which is from Aston Tata company, which is called DBase. but it's later acquired by someone. It was not, I mean, it got outdated. I mean to say, like it is not adapted by the latest market trends and it got faded. Now, finally, Microsoft and Sybase are there. Now, like when for they are developed for the operating system OS2. Later they can, I mean, later Sybase released for the Microsoft has been released Windows as version as well. Now, Microsoft Sybase released SQL Server for Windows, which is code by purely different Sybase code only. Now, what happened? Microsoft want to build the SQL Server only for the Windows. So that's how what they got mutual agreement. Sybase, you take the code for operating system 2. I will take the code for Microsoft Windows. Now what happened? I have a code, but that code has to be converted into like into C++ language. So that's the reason our journey was started from the SQL Server 2005. All the SQL Server 2000 and 2000 were like based on that Sybase code only. So we have Microsoft completely changed the code, everything. That's from SQL Server 2005 onwards. Now what happened? Microsoft took the rights for the SQL Server, and Cybers took the copyrights for the OS operating system too. Now uh, to I mean to avoid the confusion, what they have done, Microsoft SQL Server named it DB database system as a Microsoft SQL Server. Sybase renamed this software as the Adaptive Server Enterprise. So this is the our background of SQL Server, how it got started, what are the things that triggered Microsoft to start into database market. Now, if you see this is the timeline history. If you see 1995 version SQL Server, all these are like Microsoft's timeline history, how it got evolved into that. Okay. Now, if you see here, this is the document which I got from the Wikipedia. Now, if you see here, now, like here we have 10 Microsoft SQL Server with Katmai and the internal database version. For example, Ramcharan is going to do one movie. So they are going to have one working title. Yes or no? RC51, RC25. Yes or no? Hello? I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Working title, right? Same like that. For SQL Server we are calling it as a code names. This is not important, for just for information purpose only. Okay, so like that, for SQL Server 19 we are having a like Seattle. For SQL Server 22 we are at Dallas. For SQL Server 25 we don't have any code names, like working titles in your life. Like that, every every database, I mean every SQL Server database, we have internal database versions. These database versions will change from CU to CU levels as well. How we can check the what is the here? This is the command property. If you see here, new version. If you see here, see 91998 is there. For if you see the SQL Server 2019, uh, not this one nine. Yeah, if you see here 2025, this is 998. 2019, this is 904. Okay, and it in the same SQL Server sometimes it will version get changed because of the CUs as well. Okay, now we can use the DB trace on 3065 DB is for master. If you see here, you can see the DB version as well here. Okay, so that's the reason you cannot restore higher version databases into the lower version because of database version. Okay, so this is how not important, but important to know if we have that information with us. Okay, now 32-bit the hardware, 64-bit. Now previously, like olden days, 10 years back around, we have two kinds of operating systems, bit either hardware and software as well. Okay, if you are having 32-bit hardware or CPU, it supports only 32-bit operating system. If you are having 64-bit CPU, it supports 32-bit operating system as well as 64-bit operating system. But for example, my system is having 64 GB RAM. Assume like that. If I install 32-bit operating system, it only supports 4 GB only. It cannot use more than that. That's another disadvantage of 32-bit. But for 64-bit, how much RAM your laptop is having, it will go that much of level. Only that your operating system has to be get support. And comparing to 32-bit, it takes less space for the reserved portions, but doesn't matter and comparing 64-bit, it takes more spaces for partition. And memory files are more difficult to implement 32. Why? Because it is having 4 GB only. What is memory mapping files means? Let I one I will take you paint. So this is my SQL, my RAM. This is my hard disk. For example, whenever there is a less memory, already the what are the files that are being there in the memory, that is going those files are going to get transferred to the hard disk. That technology we are calling it as a paging. Okay, so it is very difficult to implement in 32-bit system. Why? Because we are having only 4 GB. If you are going to 4 GB, at least 1 or 2 GB is going to take by the operating system itself. Yes. Now, so that's the reason it is very difficult. 32-bit very less expensive. Obviously, it is less expensive. Why? Because it is going to support 4 GB only. And if it is a 4 GB, we cannot purchase more than that, like hardware, okay, memory, modules, and everything. And 64-bit, it's expensive. And obviously, we have to purchase more RAM. Why? Because our motherboard is having more slots, and most compatible device drivers are there for 32 bits. But for incompatibles, it is also in most drivers will be there. More compatible drivers is there at that time. Incompatible device drivers are there, but nowadays 32-bit outdated. Nobody is almost out in the industry. Now everybody is using 64-bit operating system, and most the drivers are designed for 32-bit only. Okay, and why? Because from SQL Server 16 onwards, there is no concept of 32-bit. Microsoft removed that 32-bit version of SQL Server. So now compatible device drivers not it is not now, it's a olden days. So in the interview they might ask you what is 32-bit and 64-bit operating system. It's a small level 1 interview question. Now what is SQL Server? Sir, generally I'm calling it as a I'm pronouncing now, I'm calling it as a SQL Server, but it is stands for actually SQL. So it was developed by the IBM only. At that time it was called as SQL Structure English Query Language. Okay, and mainly English will be the most of the we type English only. So the later reason they removed English, and they combined as a SQL Structure Query Language. But still, if you go in America and everything, if you ask their designation, they will say SQL admin. Okay, in India they call it as a mssql DBA admin or like that. But like that, I mean, in 1996, there is an American corporation called ANSI. They are going to set the rules and regulations, and so that they can adopt some languages and everything, like for the databases. So SQL is the language. It's a language which can use to talk with the SQL Server. Okay. Now, what is MS SQL Server? Now, MS SQL Server is the RDBMS product which is used to store, retrieve, managing data. So this is called Microsoft. It's a RDBMS software. Okay. Now, is it only software that we are having in the market? No, sir. There are many database softwares. One is Oracle is there, SQL Server is there, IBM DB2, MySQL, NoSQL, Amazon Aurora, Cloud Database. They are like 35 plus database servers are there. Then why we are learning Microsoft SQL Server only means because of its huge customer base, more support is required. So that's the reason it is a market number one. Number two, it will be situations will like down. I mean, sometimes it will be number one, sometimes it will be number one. So like that it will get frustration, I mean it will get change, just like our gold silver. Okay, now how Arsha, how you are going to tell my SQL server is number one, this is now this year number two? Yes, we can tell that. How? Because of there is a one company called Gartner reports. That company analyze and let you know what exactly the Gartner reports is. Now if you see sample reports and some RDBMS servers and their owners. MS SQL Server belongs to Microsoft. Oracle belongs to Oracle Corporation. IBM belongs to IBM. MySQL is open source but later acquired by the Oracle. Sybase company late database acquired by the now SAP. So like that, they are, I mean just for a few purpose, nobody will ask you who own the companies. Now there is a Gartner report. Once the year completed, then only it is going to release the reports. For example, if you want to see the 2026 report, who is the number one? It is not after 20 in 2027 only it is going to publish. So these are the Gartner reports for the year of 2015 in the DBMS market. Who is the number one here? And Microsoft and Oracle. Is this is the next to neck to neck fight is there. Okay, this is the Gartner report, and we are having four boxes. One is leaders, challenges, and niche players and visionaries. Leaders means current trend and the very long future and currently running and high standards, more market growth. Visionaries means new technology they are going to implement, and they are I mean they don't have big market, but they are introducing the new technology to the market. And niche players means they are specialized in only one technology. Okay, for example, I will say Rapido. Like before Rapido, we have Ola is there, and another players are also there. But why Rapido got famous? Bike ride by taxi for the bike taxi only, right? Yes or no? Example, if I in the Rapido, we are not only having bikes. I mean, we can book the bike, but we are also book autos. We can book cars, and there is a carpool as well. So like that, niche players are focusing only one technology. And challengers means they are very good companies, but they don't have any stronger growth or vision. Okay, but they are doing best right now, but it is not going to acquire to the market. I mean they are not going to lead the market industry. So that is what challenger means. If I go here 2021, like Amazon double services, what one of the big market in DBMS, and Microsoft is there. Okay, and if you see here 2016, again Microsoft is there. So these reports are not free. I'm showing you which are free, which are available in the internet. If you want to see, just go to the Google and type the Gartner reports for 2025, 2024 in the DBMS market, cloud market. You can see the whatever in which technology you are. So these are going to these reports are paid only. So okay, now along with SQL Server. Okay, so in simple terms, if you purchase a movie ticket in the PVR, okay, it is they are not going to make a money only with your tickets. They are going to make the money from you for drinks, for the food, for the entertainment. Yes or no? If you go to the PVR, are you going to see only movies? Hello, hello, I'm audible. Hello,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
So if you go to the AMB mall, I mean, you are going to see the movie only, but you are not going to stick that only, right? You will purchase something. So they are calling it as ecosystem. Means once you enter, they will. I mean, they are. They are going to you tempt like to purchase the products which like by putting surrounding you you. Okay. So like that, SQL Server is also have ecosystem. Along with the SQL Server, we have other components. SSIS is there, RS is there, IS is also there. Now if we see here ecosystem products, so not only now if you adapt if you addicted to the Microsoft, so they don't allow you to go outside. Means for other products. Why? Because they are all. If you want, yes, Microsoft is having Windows operating system, Window like Excel, Word is there, and SSIS, SRS is there, Cloud is there. What else? Everything it will be there within the Microsoft itself. Okay, so like that ecosystem, they are calling it as a ecosystem, but government calling it as a monopoly. Okay, now it is not only, every company will try like that only. Okay, now if you see here, ecosystem of Oracle. So now my every company is trying to catch the customer. Once they enter, they should not go outside. Okay, and so this is how data got stored earlier in earlier times. So which we are going to see from tomorrow onwards. So if you have any doubts, I'm happy to answer all your questions. Yes, please. If you have any doubts, hello. Yes. Either it is small, big, or whatever related, no problem.
Hi.
Yeah, yeah,
Can you
Mohammed.
can you send me the syllabus
Yeah, sure, sure. I will send you that this document with you. So along with that, I would like to show you one more thing. So the whoever joining into my course, there is my YouTube channel is there. What are the videos that I'm going to? It is like 200 rupees. I mean, as a kind gesture, I'm going to provide this as for free. And once you join and once you enroll in the course, this is the book that what I'm going to provide. You have to take the Xerox. So this book has been very helpful to catch. For example, after this training, you have started working for 6 months or 1 year. After that, most of the theoretical knowledge you might forget. So at that time, this book was very helpful. Most of the previous students informed me that because of this book, they got a very good package as well. Why? Because this book make you ready for the interviews. And once it is done, okay, and once you, I mean, once the class completed, I'm going to prepare this document, this Excel sheet, and forward you. Whenever you want any concept, you can use Control F and type, and you can go to the respective class and watch that video. So like this, you are going to see the for every day. Okay, so this is my enrollment. I mean, my class training approach. Okay, and I'm going to record, I mean, how many people are there, so that you can, at the end of the day, you came to know like how many classes, what is your attendance and everything. And there is a lab tracker as well. Once I'm going to do that, and like you also do that same from your husband, so that I can mark that as a practical that you has done. Now I will show you small practical for you. I will like if you see here, now we are seeing the structured data. I'm creating a table. So I'm inserting the data here. If you see here, select star from table name. See, I can see the data normally. Okay, whenever I want to fetch, I can easily fetch the data and everything. This kind of we are calling it as a structured data. Now I'm showing you the JSON document, JSON. I'm creating one table. See, this is how I'm inserting the JSON format. See, if you see here JSON, select star from. See how it look like. So can we see? This is how JSON data. Now it is very difficult for us to understand, like to fetch the data and everything. Okay, to query JSON data, we are having two things. One is JSON value, and is open JSON. Now this is how like root node I can say. In the root node, I am telling that fetch the name only, fetch type email only. Okay, so like that, this is how you need to query the JSON value. If you see here. See how I mean, we have converted from JSON to rows and columns. And if you see the this one, see for the customer ID only, I'm having two mobile numbers. One is for home, one is for work. So this is how like we can use open JSON function to retrieve the data. Open JSON converts the arrays to rows and cross apply joins them. Now if you see the XML, I'm creating one data. Now I'm inserting some data insert, and I am inserting into person to second record. Now if you see here how it look like, see, now we are not depending on the schema. Okay, now if I click here, having three values. If I click here, I'm having different values. Okay, now if I want to fetch the data from XML using SQL, select customer ID, customer data value, like what is the, it is the root node. So now I'm telling to the SQL server, go to the customer. This is the root node here. In the root node, I'm fetching the slash name, and this is the value index one. Means if you have multiple values, I'm asking to fetch only one value. So like that, this is how like we need to fetch the data. Okay. Now, for example, this is the customer node and everything. If you want to fetch the data, so you can comma, and I would like to let this one. Now, if customer is there and email is there. Now, if you see email, see this email. For second value, why? Because null coming here means we are not calling this person. I mean, we are not using. We are calling only customer root node only. Okay, now we are having a cross apply as well, so that it see we can type fetch the two types as well. Home work for customer ID too. If you want to this is how we can use cross apply. Okay, so this is just to provide the overview what how XML stores the data, how it looks like for okay. Yes, yeah. Any doubts up to here? Any doubts? So I'm going to clean up the tables. This is a small demo to make you understand the differences between what is structure, what is JSON, how what is XML data. Okay. So I'm going to provide this script as well. What are the script I'm doing to show you the practical? I'm going to provide all these things to you. You have to practice the same to get the confidence. Only one thing I can say very confidently, after this course, you can crack the job at your own. That is the first thing. And you can do the job with confidence. Whatever task it comes, doesn't matter. You can do the things on your own. These are the two things that I can say very confidently. Then it's all up to you guys. So I'm stopping the recording for now.